Hello, everybody. My name is Riley Fitzpatrick, and I am the Director of Training and Technical Assistance at the Center for Community Health and Development, the team behind the Community Toolbox. I'm here to briefly talk about stakeholder mapping and analysis. But first, I want to mention collaboration. So collaboration is integral to community work. When we say collaboration, we mean organizations who share risks, rewards, and resources and work towards a shared goal, right? In other words, we cannot make change alone. We need each other, and a way to identify new partnerships and collaborative opportunities is through stakeholder mapping. Stakeholder mapping is a process that we use often in community work to help identify entities that could be leaders, organizations, community groups, you name it, who are connected to the initiative in some way, either positive or negative. Really impactful to better understand the landscape, who's out there, who's already doing this work, who could serve as a barrier to our efforts, and importantly, who is not engaged by our group that needs to be. Really, oftentimes that is those most affected or the community themselves where we're looking to make an impact, right? How can we engage them in the work? So to help showcase what this can look like, I'm going to share an example from my own work. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Zambia, and I helped facilitate a stakeholder mapping process with a local women's group who was looking to address high rates of teen pregnancy in the village. And so we got the group together and we started brainstorming a simple list, thinking about all the groups in their community who were touched by this issue, either positive or negative, and also how close they were to the issue. So were they more distant or proximate? And begin listing. Being specific as possible is always helpful when you're looking to act, using specific names, specific group names, clinic names. We did all of that. And some people that we identified as important were, of course, teenagers themselves, their families, the local clinic staff responsible for all healthcare and health education, the chiefs, local religious leaders. So there were a lot of people that we came up with on the list. And then you move into your analysis. That is, you're looking at this list and you're trying to assess them based on certain criteria. So who on this list holds the most decision-making power? Who is most affected by the issue? Who could be a barrier to the work and should be engaged, right? All these different qualities that we want to better understand together. And so from this process, the women's group realized that they didn't actually have any teenagers who were involved with them. They all knew them, but they didn't have anyone who was actually sitting with them in this group and making decisions. So they decided to try and engage some teenagers. They also decided that they would engage local religious leaders who they saw as potentially people in positions of power to hold influence and make a difference, but also barriers. So they were a good person to try and identify champions who could come in and support their work and lead by example, right? And really, from this process, it informed their action moving forward, which is so valuable. And it also built group cohesion. It built a stronger coalition or stronger group for ultimately better impact down the line. So I hope that you will consider using this process in your community work. And as always, you can check out the community toolbox for more information about everything related to stakeholder mapping and analysis. Thank you.